I'm Lee Roan on a flight from Athens to Houston. I'm flying with Jimmy Cordell. The last week in Greece was very interesting. It's actually pretty amazing. I'd like to tell you about it. First, I need to introduce you to the characters in this film. Jimmy Cordell's mother is Patricia Frankenson Cordell. Now, Patricia had a daughter named Kathy, who is Jimmy's sister. Patricia had a sister named Betty, who had a daughter named Lisa. Now, Patricia's father was Henry Frankenson, and his father was Klein D. Frankenson. And we think he had a brother named C.D. Frankenson and a sister named Helen, who was supposedly a seamstress. And Patricia has two aunts, Stella and Helen. Stella was her favorite. So Patricia didn't know much about her grandfather Klein. She knew that he had immigrated from Greece. Cousin Lisa did some research that indicated to her that Klein had last lived in Volos, Greece, and possibly a small town called Maliopolis. So that's why we took this trip, to go find out more details and to meet the long-lost cousins, if there are any. It sounded implausible to me, but I agreed to go. So, before going on with the family business, we decided to enjoy Greece. First stop was Santorini. Second stop, Cleanthus. I'm in Frankfurt for a layover. Let's continue. So after Cleanthus, it was time to get on a boat and head to Volos to start the family research. Looking out of the boat window to the west, we thought we saw the village of Maliopolis. So if you remember the family tree from earlier, the guy at the top in the middle, Klein D. Frankenson, that's who we're trying to find out the most about. The D stands for Demetrius, or Demetrius. Cousin Lisa thinks his Greek name was Cleanthus Demetrius Frankopoulos. So when we get to the dock in Volos, we walk a few blocks to something called the Registry of Male Bodies. It's sort of like the vital statistics office. They tried to help. They broke out some old scrolls and all kind of stuff, and but they ended up suggesting we come back the next day, give them some time to look. But while Jim was in there, everybody realized the woman standing next to him was a Frankopolis. Exactly who we were looking for. Was it possible we had come close to solving the puzzle in the first hour we were there? So we agreed to come back the next day and got the rental car and moved on to Amaliopolis. So we got to town, we took a short walk from our villa into the village, saw some of the sights. It's a small place. Anyway, we were hungry, and from what we could tell, there were like 2 restaurants and maybe a couple cafe, coffee places. So we randomly picked a place called Nick's and got a table. The waiter came by to get our order. Jim handed him a note that said he was from Texas in the United States of America, and he was looking for the family of Cleanthus Demetrius Frankopolis. The waiter said he'd give it to the owner, and that was that. After we finished eating, the owner came to the table carrying a book. An old fisherman joined us. I think his name was Sergio. So anyway, Sergio, something like that. The owner of the restaurant was Nick, and he referred to the book, and he said that he thinks you're looking for the wrong name, Frankopolis, that you should be looking for Fragos. Fragos, or Fragos, and that there was a section of the book that he read that said there was a Demetrios Frago who had 2 sons, Cleanthus and Aristides Frago. Could this Cleanthus be our Cleanthus? And was the Aristides the brother? Could that possibly be the C.D. Frankenstein that was on the manifest that Lisa found? And what about the sister Helen? Lisa's research indicated that Klein had a sister, Helen, who was a seamstress for Queen Amalia, and she used to send dresses to the United States. Amaliopolis was named after Queen Amalia. It had a different name prior to the Queen. So the restaurant owner, Nick, or Nico, or Nikos, really got into this. He put Jim on his scooter and took him around town. He took him to the Frago home and to the church, which I believe had something to do with the Queen. And he stayed on the phone and called everybody in town. And in walks Nicholas Frago and his daughter.
Για καθίστε να μας πει εδώ πέρα τα υπόλοιπα.
This person, Cleanthus, my great grandfather,
ναι, ο προπάπος.
he had what I know are 2 siblings.
Είχε 2 συγγενείς.
Ο Παναγιώτης, Μιχάλης.
Okay.
Μιχάλης Φράγκος εδώ πάει. Εδώ, Δημήτρης Φράγκος. Εγώ εδώ τώρα. Νίκος Φράγκος. Νίκος Φράγκος. Ιωάννα Φράγκο.
Okay.
Αδερφή. Σύστεν.
Okay.
Ιωάννα Φράγκο. Ιωάννα Φράγκο. Γιώργος Φράγκος. Πάλι εδώ. Νίκος Φράγκος. Πάλι Νίκος. 1, 2, 3 είναι παιδιά αυτό είναι αυτό. Νίκος, Παναγιώτης, Δημήτρης, Γιώργος. 3. Αυτοί εδώ βγάναμε. Μιχάλης.
Introducing Nico's son, Alex.
Okay.
Ξέρω ότι δυο αδερφές. Δυο.
You know, two sisters. Okay, he had to
Δύο αδερφές. Μία από την Ισία, μία...
And Helen was...
Η Ελένη ήταν.
Yes, okay.
Η Ελένη ήταν η μόνη. Το ξέρω.
I know that Helen's brother was Cleanthus.
Ο Cleanthus, το Ελένης.
I'm thinking, yeah.
Cleanthus.
Professor? Oh, okay.
Professor, Cleanthus.
Okay. And where? Okay.
Professor.
And Volos.
In Volos.
Alright, so this Professor and Volos.
Professor in Volos, ναι. Δύο και είναι. Ο Νίκος δύο και είναι. Και ο Μιχάλης δύο. Και εγώ δύο.
Ναι.
Δεν ξέρω. Εγώ να τη δω...
Ναι, από την παλιά Μιτζέλα.
Την παλιά Μιτζέλα. Παλιά Μιτζέλα, όχι εδώ.
Oh, not this one, but
Αλλά
that
εκεί
one.
δεν υπάρχει
Yes.
σπίτι του τώρα, είναι όλα εδώ.
Okay. Could be, yes.
Μόνο ο Αλιπούρης πες το έχει.
There was the old
Και ένα πάρανε βιβλίο λέει
Mitzela, and it
που έγραψε ο Τσουλάκης τη Μιτζέλα. Να σου πάρω.
something like that.
And destroyed it.
Αυτό θα είναι να βρει τις ρίζες του. Εγώ κοίταξε
Yes.
αυτό που μπορούσα να του πω.
The
Γιατί εγώ
original
δεν
of
έζησα
this
εδώ.
was in another location, and then it was destroyed, and they rebuilt it and moved it
Μπορώ να
here.
πω τι
And
γίνεται.
so,
εδώ μαζί. Φράγκος! Φράγκος!
Κάτσε να δεις πάντα.
Φράγκος!
Είναι μου από το άκουσα.
Φράγκος!
Ξέρεις το χρόνο, τι ξέρεις πιο πολλά. Ξέρεις πιο πολλά.
So this is cousin Nicholas's wife. At some point, they take Jim to the house, to their home, and for a snack. But they show him several old photographs. I'm not sure who the man is, but I do know that the woman is cousin Nicholas's mother, who has died. So back to the book. Nico talks to the son of the author of the book and finds that he'll be coming into Amaliopolis later that day. So anyway, we basically hang around all day waiting for the author to show up. So when the author gets there, we chat briefly, but he seems distracted. In fact, he walks out and walks to the restaurant next door and visits with some people, and then returns with a woman. Introducing cousin Helen.
Που έχει πάνω τον Κλεάνθη, την Ελένη.
Πώς θα τη φέρεις? Ναι, μπράβο. Ναι. I come with photo now.
okay.
Photo with Cleanthus.
So cousin Helen returns with a photograph of two women and a man. So who are these people? If you notice, one on the left is labeled Stella, and the woman on the right is labeled Helen, and the guy in the middle is Bud. So could this Stella and Helen be Patricia's aunts? But how could a photograph of two women born in the United States of America end up in Amaliopolis, Greece? Check out the frame. Jackson, Mississippi. It was mailed to Greece, apparently by Cleanthus.
Right here.
This. Εγώ πες του ότι αυτή
Πολύ παλιά.
είχε πεθάνει πριν γεννηθώ εγώ.
Καλά, ναι. Εντάξει, δεν είναι πολύ παλιά. Μήπως δεν είναι αυτή η Ελένη και είναι άλλη Ελένη. Αυτή τι είναι η...
Αυτή είναι... Τώρα τι να σου πω.
Γιαγιά.
Αδερφή του παππού μπορεί να ήταν, δεν ξέρω.
Καλά, εντάξει, ποιος ξέρει τώρα.
Δεν ξέρω.
Θα μου πει ο πατέρα μου.
Όταν γεννήθηκε η Ελένη λέει τα βρήκε.
Δεν ξέρω.
Υπήρχαν.
She's not sure.
Oh, okay. Oh, we'll see each other again, okay? Okay.
Ναι, ναι, ναι.
So the next morning, cousin Nicholas takes us to the cemetery. In Greece, they do things a little bit differently. After putting the bodies in the ground, they're exhumed and the bones are put into boxes. This is a room filled with boxes of bones. So what was supposed to be a 20-minute trip to the cemetery turned into about a 2-hour tour of the countryside with cousin Nick driving.
My diploma, Karen, Caro, Germania,
Okay.
Frankfurt, Frankfurt.
Okay.
Then it was off to Athens to meet the third Nick. This is Nicholas, brother to Helen, cousin Helen, that we met, that had the picture. So this cousin Nicholas was a ship's captain, sailed around the world. He then retired or went into management onshore, and I think later as an entrepreneur, and made some money and became very successful.
In the Facebook,
Absolutely.
you will see them.
Okay. I will join you in the Facebook, I promise. Cleanthus is the professor in Bolos. I spoke to him on the phone last night, but we couldn't
You
communicate.
spoke to him?
Yes.
So this was the goodbye photograph between Nicholas and Jimmy. That thing above their head in the distance is the Acropolis. And we figured while we were in Athens, we just as soon go see some of this historic stuff. Take a look. Well, I hope you enjoyed my story. We're approaching North America. I think I'm going to get some sleep.